TV9 Digital, I am Adarsh Vepachedu. Ivermectin is currently the buzzword on Twitter. Expert panels from a few countries like Germany, Philippines, UK, Italy, Spain, and Japan have backed its efficacy in dealing with COVID-19. So much so that even in India, the Goa government has cleared a new COVID-19 treatment protocol under which patients will be treated with ivermectin 12 mg for a period of 5 days. So what is this ivermectin all about? Like in the case of hydroxychloroquine, should we be taking all this with a pinch of salt? I had a word with Dr. Sitesh Roy, clinical immunologist and allergy specialist, to get a few basics around ivermectin clarified. Many thanks, Dr. Sitesh, for joining us and for taking some time out of your busy schedule. Uh, Doctor, people may be looking at consuming ivermectin daily because the kind of reports that are doing rounds. Is it safe, firstly? What about its dosage? There seem to be quite a few gray areas there. A research published in the American Journal of Therapeutics claims regular ivermectin use may cut risk of contracting COVID-19. Is it used as something to prevent COVID-19 or is it an immunity booster? Kindly shed some light, please.
Sure. So, ivermectin is an antiparasitic drug that has been around for many decades now for the treatment of tapeworm, roundworms, pinworms, many different types of worm infestations, and also interestingly as an application medication for things like head lice. But it has never really been used as a preventive drug, as a medicine that can be used for prevention of viral infections, especially. May have been used in certain parts of the world where there are endemic parasitic infections in third world countries. It has been used as an ongoing program where once in a couple of weeks the people may be given that dosage, but never as a daily dosage. So it really comes as a concern to me and probably to many other physicians that ivermectin is being recommended as a prophylactic drug for COVID-19 when even its effect as a therapeutic drug is still unproven. And the WHO and the US FDA both have not yet granted any kind of status to ivermectin for either therapy or prophylaxis, and only restricted its use to clinical trials right now.
Okay. So, doctor, speaking in terms of COVID-19, what exactly can ivermectin do? And what is your advice to people? Should we be even considering mass consumption? And is ivermectin of any help at all in terms of COVID-19?
So, in terms of its effect in viral infections, whatever the latest, even the article that has been recently published in the American Journal of Therapeutics, they are talking about in vitro studies that are done in a petri dish in a lab or in animals. And in that, it has been shown that the ivermectin may potentially prevent the viral replication as well as may prevent the viral binding. And there might be some effect on the host immune system being boosted by ivermectin. However, we never, so that would be like a phase 1 trial of a drug if we think of it. Phase 3 trial is where you actually give it to human beings and they are taking it when they are infected to see whether you reduce the duration of their infection, the severity of their infection, or eventually the mortality from the infection. And there, ivermectin has not yet proven its worth. Most of the studies cited in that journal article are 100, 200, 300 people, and there were many issues with the way the studies were done and the results were interpreted. So based on a meta-analysis that has been published right now, I certainly would not recommend people to take ivermectin on a regular basis. We know that this was done with HCQS and millions of doses of it were given in India, but later on everyone backed off from it when they realized it wasn't doing much. And I have a strong feeling that ivermectin will go down the same way. If it is used for a 3-day period, like it is done currently for the infection in the acute phase, it may not cause as much harm. But if it is used continuously or for prolonged periods of time or cyclically, it certainly has side effects.
Okay, in that context, what would you have to say about what Goa is doing currently? They're talking about giving ivermectin to its population over a period of 5 days. and they're talking about some 15 mg of ivermectin. What do you have to say about the dosage? Is it too much, too less? And even in the journal that we were just talking about, it says that it speaks about regular usage of ivermectin. So could you please elaborate on that a little more?
So, Adarsh, the doses that have been studied in the lab for controlling any kind of viral infection or preventing it or treating it are 10 times higher than what humans are consuming. So, to assume that where you need 120 or 150 milligram dose, that there a dose of 12 or 15 milligrams would make a difference doesn't somehow correlate. And scientifically, the evidence for even the mechanism of action of ivermectin in SARS-CoV-2 is not completely proven yet, and neither has the therapeutic effect been proven. So, in my suggestion, taking any dose prophylactically right now, I think is not appropriate. Whether it should be taken on a continuous and regular basis, if you look at the side effects like nausea, vomiting, diarrhea, elevation of liver enzymes, reduction of blood counts, neurological side effects, I really don't think you would want to create a disease where there isn't one by giving millions of doses of ivermectin to people. So I just do not, at this point of time, with the available science and data, agree with what is being done.
Okay. Lastly, Dr. Sitesh, you were also speaking about what the WHO has said on ivermectin. Chief scientist for WHO, Soumya Swaminathan, she's in fact said that the WHO recommends against the use of ivermectin for COVID-19 except with clinical trials. Kindly tell us about a few of the major concerns surrounding use of ivermectin, and should a state like Goa, stop what they're doing, and what were to happen in case if you go ahead and administer ivermectin to a large population in terms of Goa particularly.
So, Adarsh, what I would say is whenever you give a drug that you believe is safe, because we are not saying that there's any question about the safety of ivermectin. It has been used for many decades now for parasitic infections, as I've mentioned. But when you give it to a very large population, where even if you say there is a chance of a 1% or 2% or 3% of a side effect, you're talking about thousands of people who are going to get affected potentially. So I think that is where the issue comes up. Second reason, as I said, the data and the science is not that strong to suggest it. So what we are doing, I may be using a very strong word, but we are doing a placebo trial in a general population, which is never recommended. You want to have your science and your data really strong before you give something like this. On the other side, if there are people who have worms in their stomach, they'll be free of the worms. But that's not what we are trying to do in a pandemic. We are trying to prevent the viral infection that can be life-threatening to some people. They can have a false sense of complacency because they are taking ivermectin courses or they are taking it regularly or in cyclical manner. They may be under the impression that they are now protected and they may give up their routine precautions that they are supposed to follow. So I think that overall this is not a very good move. It should be restricted to use amongst people who really need it at the right time in mild disease, early in the disease, and that also is currently based on fairly weak data.
All right. Having said that, Dr. Sitesh, what would your final word of advice be to the viewers? We've seen in the case of hydroxychloroquine, you were just talking about it. We've even seen things happen in the case of remdesivir. So now ivermectin, what would your advice be?
My advice, Adarsh, has always been work on your own immune system, a healthy diet, a healthy lifestyle, exercise, keeping your mood well, praying, meditating, do everything you can to keep your immune system healthy. Your body is smart enough to fight off the virus if you take good care of your own body. And do not go after a medication just based on very, what I would call, weak data at this point of time, which is not completely proven, and follow your doctor's advice at the final word. That's the final decision that your local treating doctor has for you with regards to taking the medication.
All right. So there are quite a few red flags indeed, and we can only hope that Indian states do not commit some sort of a mistake on this particular front, and we only hope that more light is shared on what exactly ivermectin does. Many thanks, Dr. Sitesh, for joining us and for shedding light on this very new topic. Thank you indeed. If you like the information that I've shared with you, make sure you like and share this video. And yes, subscribe to TV9 News on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Until next time.